Welcome to the John, your daily sports dump, where we'll plunge into the world of sports. We are your sports pipeline for breaking news, game recaps, and the hottest take in the sports industry. While you are taking care of your business, let us flush out the details and fill you in on what's happening. So take a seat, get comfortable, and make sure you have plenty of TP. It's time to explode the commode. What's up, everybody? I'm John, your host, and today we've got a lot to dive into. First, we'll talk about the new head coaching hires across the NFL. Yeah, we're looking at you Bears, Pats, Jets, and Jags. I'll give you my unfiltered thoughts on those moves and what they mean for the teams and the league. Then, I'll share my picks for the NFL Conference Championships games. Who's going to make it to the big show and who's going home? Alright, let's flush out these new head coaching hires around the NFL. There were 7 head coach openings in the NFL, and they're starting to get filled quickly this week. My Chicago Bears hired Ben Johnson, the Patriots hired Mike Vrabel, the Jets hired Aaron Glenn, and the Jaguars hired Liam Cohen, while the Dallas Cowboys and New Orleans Saints are still in the process of filling their head coach vacancies. We've got some moves that are definitely making waves. Let's start with the Bears. Oh, the Bears. Where do I even start? Last year they finished 5-12, which was about as fun as a bad taco night. Just constant disappointment and regret. Caleb Williams took the second most sacks in the NFL single season, an unfortunate accolade that pretty much screams help me. Their offense, on the other hand, dead last in total yards, second to last in passing, 26th in rushing, and 28th in scoring. If this offense were a bathroom, it would be out of order. But there's a reason for optimism. Ben Johnson, the guy who turned the Lions offense into a firework display last season. Second in total yards, second in passing, 6th in rushing, 1st in scoring, and yeah, sure, he had a lot better weapons and tools in Detroit, but Bears fans, we have hope. We gotta believe in him. However, let's not kid ourselves. Even though you've got the best plumber in the league, you still need to replace the busted pipes. Translation, the Bears desperately need an O-line and defensive line overhaul. Until then, Bears fans are holding on to hope and probably their noses. Guys, I love the Bears, as you guys know. I think this hire is a great step, and I've said this multiple times on the Instagram. I think it is a great piece of the puzzle, but you can't solve a puzzle with one piece. You need multiple pieces. They need to work on this O-line. I think this D line, and their coaching. I was going to say their coaching staff, but it looks like Johnson has a good idea. I really like him bringing in Dennis Allen as his defensive coordinator. I think that's a great start. And he looked great in the press conference. I mean, I know it's a press conference. You can't base that off, but right now that's the only thing I have because he's not a head. I haven't seen him as a head coach, so I don't know what he's like. I think another thing that is great for the Bears is winning that game against Lambeau to finish the season. I think they can carry that. You know, I joke around with some of my buddies that the Bears are the only team that's won in 2025 in the NFC North. Yes, that's true, but it's like kind of joking, but it is true. And I think they're going to use that, and I think they're going to carry that into next season. And I think it's going to bring hope and excitement. You can tell that Caleb especially cares so much, and he's so open about caring about winning about all of this. So I think Ben Johnson brings a lot of good traits, but it's just he's such a little piece right now of this puzzle that the Bears are trying to solve. So yes, be excited, be happy, but also know it's not going to be like that. They need to fix a bunch of stuff in the offseason. I think they need to win the offseason. But now, speaking of teams that need a little bit of TLC, let's talk about the Patriots. They stumbled to a 4-13 record last season, and it felt like watching a former champ trying to relearn how to walk. The only bright spot, Drake May, who might be the new face of the team, if they're lucky. This kid's got talent, guys, tossing 17 total touchdowns and only 10 picks in 13 games. Hiring Mike Vrabel, a proven head coach who's not only familiar with the Patriot way, but also played for Belichick and won Super Bowls as a part of the dynasty, was a solid move. Vrabel brings grit, discipline, and hopefully a spark to the team that looked pretty dim lately. With a career coaching record of 54-45, he brings hope to a franchise that desperately needs it. But here's where things get questionable. Josh McDaniels, an offensive coordinator who thrived under Bill Belichick, served as the Patriots OC in 2 stints with Tom Brady at quarterback. But McDaniels on his own, not so much. He's failed as a head coach with a 20-33 record and the offensive play caller twice, most recently with the Raiders. I doubt he'll be able to rekindle his past success. It could be like trying to unclog the drain with a paperclip. Not exactly the right tool for the job. Patriots fans, let's hope Vrabel is ready to handle the inevitable mess. Meanwhile, a Patriots conference rival, the Jets, who finished 5-12 last season, had high hopes of a Super Bowl run this season with Aaron Rodgers returning from a torn Achilles. His stats were solid but not spectacular. 28 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. He wasn't exactly vintage Rodgers. He and the Jets' subpar performance led to the midseason firing of head coach Robert Saleh, as Jets were considered one of the worst teams in the league. Their big hire, Aaron Glenn. He's another defensive guru, much like Robert Saleh. When Glenn's got the charisma to rally his players, he led the fifth-ranked rushing defense and the seventh scoring defense in the NFL and the best third down defense. But can he actually win games? Saleh couldn't. Jets fans, you're stuck waiting to see if Glenn can find one good offensive coordinator to help with your QB issue and turn this team into a contender, or if you'll be flushing another season down the drain. I've said this before as well. I think the Aaron Glenn hire, I think he's a great dude. I think he's a great coach. I think he's a great motivator. I think he's a great person to get play behind, to want to play for. I just, until I see him as a head coach succeed, I'm still really iffy because we saw this with Robert Saleh. He was a great dude. So many people got behind him, but it was so iffy because they never had a great offense. So that's why I say I think he needs to hit his offensive coordinator hire because that he has such little touch on that. So I think that's what he needs to. I think he needs to hit on his offensive coordinator hire, which is the biggest hire for him, I think. Shifting gears to the AFC South, let's talk about the Jaguars. They were a huge letdown last year, finishing 4-13 despite the hype around Doug Peterson. He's out and Liam Cohen is in. The Jags had to fire their GM in order to get him as their head coach, but Cohen's offensive track record with the Buccaneers is pretty impressive. Third in total offense, third in passing, fourth in rushing, and fourth in scoring. So the offense should be in good hands, theoretically. But here's the thing. Trevor Lawrence is making $55 million a year to deliver, well, not that much. 11 touchdowns to 7 interceptions in 10 games. That's not exactly $55 million worth of production. It's like buying a golden toilet and realizing it doesn't flush properly. And let's not forget the defense, which ranked 31st in total defense, dead last in passing defense, and 25th in rushing defense, and 27th in scoring. Will Cohen be able to assemble a staff to fix the defense? The Jags might be able to light up the scoreboard with him, but if they don't fix their defense, they'll just be circling in the drain. The coaching carousel is still spinning around the NFL. Originally, the Raiders, Saints, and Cowboys, but now the Raiders hired Pete Carroll today. Let's see who can unclog their coaching pipeline and turn their franchise around. Now, I want to kind of talk about this Jaguars hire and how crazy it is. I think this GM should have been fired a long time ago. In the NFL, there have been 8 coaches who were fired in their first year. 3 of those coaches were hired by the former Jacksonville Jaguars GM, and one of them was Urban Meyer. I mean, if that doesn't tell you enough, I don't know what should. Urban Meyer should never have been a head coach in the NFL, and I think he was not a great dude to begin with. I didn't think, yeah, he was a great winner at college, but he was such a just not a great person. I wouldn't want to bring him into the NFL because college is a whole other thing. You know, this is your coach. You know, he's kind of like your boss. In the NFL, it's grown men. So that's what I think. I think that the GM should have never been there, and I think I'm excited for Liam Cohen. He's a great offensive mind, and the Bucks, man, they have their past 2 offensive coordinators are now head coaches in the NFL. So if I'm a Bucks fan, I'm not worried because one, I have a great quarterback in Baker Mayfield, and I have a great weapons in if they bring back Godwin, but they still have Mike Evans. They still have a great dynamic running back duo with Bucky Irving and Rashid White. So, and they've showed they can hit on the offensive coordinator. So if I'm a Bucks fan, I'm like, okay, who's the next one? But now let's dive into the NFL Conference Championship games. This is where dreams are made, legends are born, and every play could mean the difference between heartbreak and history. Let's break down what's in store. First up, the Commanders and Eagles. These two teams have faced off twice this season. In their first meeting, Philly was fully healthy and handled business. But in the second, the Eagles, dealing with key injuries, lost by 3. The Commanders only managed to pull off this game because Jaden Daniels threw 5 touchdowns. That's right, 5. Daniels has been flushing rookie records like he's clearing the pipes for a Hall of Fame career. The Commanders' offense has been scorching hot. Daniels leads the league in postseason passing yards by nearly 200 yards, more than Josh Allen, who's second place. Plus, 2 of his receivers are top 5 in the playoffs receiving yards. It's like Daniels' arm is pure magic, or at least as smooth as double ply roll of Charmin. But here's where I pump my brakes. As much as I want to buy into the Commanders' hype, my gut and maybe my digestive system says the Eagles take this one. Philly's defense is just too dominant. They rank first in total defense, first in pass defense, second in scoring defense, and their run game, it's the most punishing attack in the league, not named the Ravens. Jalen Hurts, he's got the easiest job in football right now. Hand the ball off, trust the defense, and ride the wave to another Super Bowl appearance. Honestly, Hurts is getting carried like a roll of TP during the bathroom emergency. Now, guys, you guys think that I feel like a lot of people think that I'm a Jalen Hurts hater. I'm not. Well, maybe a little. But he gets carried by running backs when they have career years. Miles Sanders, when they went to Super Bowl, career year. This year, Saquon, I think, would have broken the rushing record. I think he's having the best running back season we've ever seen. And behind that dominant O-line, Jalen Hurts, when they beat the Rams, threw for 128 yards. No touchdowns. Yeah, he had that big rush, but okay. You're a quarterback. You need to throw the ball too. You're not just a running back. You need to do more. That's my issue. I don't believe in Jalen Hurts. I think if they make it to the Super Bowl, I think they lose. I think the Commanders, if they win, have a better chance to win the Super Bowl. If they make it, or vice versa. So, but now let's turn to the other conference, the Chiefs Bills. You already know what kind of game this is going to be. Whenever these two teams meet in the playoffs, it is a one-score thriller that comes down to the last minute. It's the kind of matchup that'll have you pacing like you're waiting in line for the restroom at halftime. But this year, it feels a little different. The Bills have been incredible at protecting the ball, boasting a plus 24 turnover differential compared to the Chiefs plus 6. And then there's Josh Allen. For the first time, I can confidently say the Bills are heading into this matchup with a better quarterback. Don't get me wrong, Mahomes is still that guy. But this season, Allen's numbers speak for themselves. 40 total touchdowns to just 8 interceptions. Meanwhile, Mahomes had 28 total touchdowns and 11 picks. It's like Allen upgraded the premium flush option while Mahomes is stuck on the low flow situation. So here's my final take. The Bills are about to clean house. They've tightened things up. Allen is playing like he's on a mission, and they're ready to break through. Chiefs fans, I do not hate to say this, but Buffalo's about to leave you feeling backed up while they flush their way to the next round. Guys, Josh Allen this year is better than Mahomes. I'm not saying he's better than Mahomes career-wise, just this year. And I gave you guys the numbers, but yes, I do think Josh Allen is better than Patrick Mahomes this season. I do, and I know Mahomes in the playoffs is a different animal, but Josh Allen is also a different animal. So that's where I'm coming with this. I think Josh Allen's gonna do Josh Allen and win them the game. I think that he's better this year, and I think he's coming with a vengeance this year, and he's taking down the Chiefs. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about that. But that's all for today's episode on the John Sports Dump. We drove into the NFL head coaching carousel, my picks and previews for the conference championship games. Let me know what you thought in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram for sports updates and hot takes in real time. And if you're looking for even more sports talk, check the Sports Syllabus Show, where my partner and I tackle the hottest topics in college sports and beyond. It's a two-ply discussion, strong, reliable, and always ready to clean up the messiest takes in sports. Join me next time on The John, your daily sports dump. We'll be baking another batch of brownies full of sweet, delicious sports analysis you won't want to miss. Until then, keep your game face on and stay regular. This is The John, signing off.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 35, 45 minutes. Somebody open the window.